Next task is adding the shading. Using the scrap colored paper, practice. It doesn't matter if the scrap colored paper is different than yours or the same. We are using black colored pencil on this one, and you are going to show how you press harder to lighter to make that graduated value of dark to light with the black. And we are going to add shade and add shadows, or the shading, I guess, for the ceilings of things. So your vanishing point is here. Anything that goes above the vanishing point, that horizon line, you will see the ceilings if they're open, and you will see the bottoms if they are closed. If anything is closed at the top, you won't see the ceiling because it's a closed shape. But anything that you would be looking up at with your imaginary vanishing point of line of vision, you're adding the shading. So it is going to go darker toward the back because it's the farthest away. So you are adding some dark value, pressing harder, and then fading to make it go lighter as it goes up. Trying to have that smooth, gradual transition. So the bottom over here, make it darker and make it fade as it goes up. Back here too, pay attention to any of the bottoms, and then the ceiling on this one, it goes darker. And my manila paper, don't want to smudge all of this, so I'm putting it under my palm, and I am making it darker back here, trying to really stay inside my lines. Notice how I'm controlling my fingers. My fingers are doing the work. They're wiggling my pencil around. I'm not moving my whole hand or my arm. I'm making these swirling motions that are lightly overlapping each other and making this a little darker because it is the ceiling and I'm looking up at it. So you should have this for this step. Now I have the side, and what I'm actually going to do is make this a little bit darker against the crease here and make it go a little bit darker coming up because I want there to be a difference between the value that's on the top versus the side. So I'm making this a little bit darker. Remember that if you make something too dark, you can't make it lighter. But if you make it too light, you can definitely make it a little bit darker. We are also applying the darker value on the side. If you have anything that's open and it has the side of the shape, you'll make it have a graduated value of black, but it won't be as dark as your top or your bottom, but it definitely will have some color. I also have a side that's over here. So I'm making it really dark toward the back and then getting lighter as it goes toward the opening of the shape. And if you have any lines underneath your paper, like what I have on this, it will show up because you're creating a texture rubbing. And then this one over here, same thing, making it darker toward the back of the opening. And it's going to fade and get lighter as it comes across, lighter and lighter and lighter. And if you go controlled and overlapping, you can make it look pretty smooth. Notice that I'm doing these little swirly lines to try to have my graduated value. And if you take a step back and look at it, you can think, does it look dark enough? Does it look bold enough? I still have one over here and one over there, so I'm going to time, well, maybe I won't time lapse it. I'll just show how this is dark and it goes out and across, but I want my sides and my bottoms and my tops to have a little bit of a different value. So I need to make the bottom of this a little bit darker so that each side has a slightly different value range based on the amount of light that it's getting. So that creates a better contrast of light. And I have it going dark to light on the side here. So I want to make this a little bit darker underneath too. because it's getting less light than what the side did. And then I have this light source, or this shadow, sorry, this shading, and it should be a little lighter than the one that's behind it because we have overlapping. So anywhere that you have overlapping, you need to make sure that you show which shape is behind and which shape is in front based on the values that you assign to it with the shading. So this has the graduated value that's lighter than the one that's behind it because it is in front. And I still have one down here. So add that in as well. Darker, and then gradually get lighter. If it's too light, go back in, add a little bit more lighter value, or darker value, sorry. Okay, so now we have the shading, and I need to add on here that these sides have black, and it's darker toward vanishing point. So I made it darker as it was closer to the vanishing point, and it gets lighter as it goes toward you as the viewer.